What's going on, guys? Mr. Jones here. We're going to go ahead and get into task 3.6. Notice it's a practice understanding task, so a lot of it is going to have to do with those features of functions and thinking in terms of that. There is a little bit I want to talk about. The first thing is called function notation. I'm not sure if you've gone over this before, but let's go ahead and talk about function notation. So right off the bat, if I give you an equation, f of x equals 2x minus 4. This is an example, and I say f of 2. This means that x is 2. Okay? If I say what does f of 2 equal, that means what does the y value equal? Okay? So it's saying what does y equal when x equals 2? So if I gave you an ordered pair, it'd be 2 comma blank. You know the x value, but you're solving for the y value. So you would just plug a 2 in there, and you just solve for it. Okay, so 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 minus 4 is 0. So in that case, the answer was 0. Okay, so that's what function notation means. F of 2 just means where x is 2. Okay, where x is 2. All right, so now go ahead and look at this problem. It says you have this graph. You're given the graph of f of x. Okay, whatever the equation is, we don't know, but that's what the line is, f of x. And then it says, answer the following questions. Unless otherwise specified, restrict the domain of the function to what you see in the graph. Approximations are appropriate answers. So give an approximate answer if you don't know exactly what it is, all right? So on number 1, what is f of 2? You're going to solve for that, okay? But you're going to look at it graphically. So if I tell you x is 2, you go to the x is 2 where you see my mouse, and you go up to the graph and you tell me what the y value is. So in that case, the answer was 6, right? So for number 1, f of 2, the answer is 6. Because 2, 6, if x is 2, y is 6 on that graph, right? Number 2, it's opposite. It said for what value, if any, does f of x equal 3? So it's saying if f of x equals 3, that's the same thing as saying that y equals 3. So what does the x value equal if y equals 3? So you go up to the 3 on the y, and then you go to the graph, and you give me your answer, okay? So those two might be new to you, okay? All right, number 3, what's the x-intercept? Number 4, what's the domain? You should be able to do those. Number 5, on what interval is f of x greater than 0? So if your graph is greater than 0, okay, 0 is your x-axis. So where is f of x greater than 0? Okay, that means where is your y value greater than 0? Okay, well right here where my mouse is, my y value is 0. So for what x values is it greater than 0? Well, any x value of -2 to, I guess, what, 6? Now, is it actually greater than 0 at -2? No, it's at 0. But is it greater than 0 at 6? Yes. So for example, there would be your answer for number 5. Okay, so this is similar. If it's asking what interval, it's asking for what x value, smallest x value to largest x value. So number 6, on what interval is the graph increasing? And number 7, on what interval is the graph decreasing? And then lastly, for what value, if any, is f of x greater than 3? So for what values of x is y greater than 3? That's how you answer those. All right, 9 through 14 is very similar, but it has two graphs. One's called g of t, and one's called f of t. Okay, g of t is your curve graph, so one looks like this. And your f of t is your straight line. It looks like this, okay? So on number 9, if g of t equals f of t, it's saying where do they equal each other? Where would the graphs equal each other, have the same value? Hopefully you realize it's where they cross. How many answers should you have? Depends on how many times you cross. So where is f of t equal to g of t? Your answer is going to be your x values. What x values you have the same y value for those two graphs. All right, where is f of t's y values greater than g of t's y values? So in other words, which ones are higher up? If your y value is bigger, then your graph is higher up. So you see my graph, this whole y values of the g graph is higher than the y values of the f graph right there. Okay. And number 11, what's f of 0 plus g of 0? Well, you have to solve for it. Solve for f of 0, get your answer. Solve for g of 0, get your answer, and then add your two answers together. Okay. G of 0 means plug in what is your y value whenever x is 0 on the g graph. This one, what is your y value whenever your x is 0 on the f graph? So go to the 0 and then hit the f graph. What's your answer? Go to the 0, hit your g graph, and what's your answer? All right, same thing for this table, but you're just going to be looking at the table. So number 15, you should be able to do that. If x is -3, what does y equal? You're talking about the g graph. So the letter up front tells you what graph you're looking at. Okay, if I say g of -3, I'm saying that x is -3 for your g equation. Okay, if it said f of -3, that would mean x is -3 for your f equation. Okay. And then I'll let you go ahead and answer these. And then as we go down, it says use the following relationships to answer the following questions. So again, you have several equations. One starts with an h of x. One starts with an f of x. Okay. If it says find f of 2, you're using the f equation. If it says find g of 2, you're using the g equation. If it says find h of 2, you're using the h equation. Okay? And I want you to go ahead and skip 26 through 29. Okay, so skip 26 through 29. Okay, and that's it. So once you finish those, so you should be able to do 1 through 25, just a bunch of questions, and it's just function notation. If you need more help, look up function notation online and see if you can find your own video of someone talking about function notation. Have a good day, guys.